It's at Arizona State University. Why is the Innovation Center for the City Managers Association, the Global City Managers Association in Arizona? Well, partly because of ASU, but mostly because of the cities that are here. Innovative, adaptive, engaged. Look at the city of Chandler. The city of Chandler has done fantastic things to help to facilitate the growth and emergence of small businesses of all types. Small businesses that are technology-oriented, large businesses that are technology-oriented. Orbital Sciences, the Intel, I won't go through the list, all of you know the list. It's really, literally unbelievable. But we can't get that noise level above the noise level about things like, well, we'd really like all of your faculty to wear guns in the classroom. And we're just like, what kind of gun? We prefer phasers. We try to tell people, you know, a gun today is not quite what the kind of thing we're working on at the university, so you better be careful. So the other thing that's interesting to me is, so we're projecting this falsehood. The falsehood that we project is that Arizona's screwed up. Well, I don't agree with every decision that our legislative leaders made, and nor do they agree with every decision that I made. I do respect the fact that they found a problem and solved the problem relative to the financial structure of the state. Other states haven't even gotten to the problem yet. Our problem is solved. We're moved on. We're past it. We're moving in new directions. We're past it. That's decisive action. Decisive action. So here we have a state which is decisive. We have a state which is innovative. We have a state which is attracting and growing innovation. We have a state which is actually performing pretty well educationally. Needs to perform better, never satisfied. But given our complexity, performing very well. But none of this is known. So we live in a state where, and we live in a country now where I ripped off in rage a cover of Forbes magazine the other day. I sent it to the entire senior team of the university. There were no expletives in what I said. What I said, but the cover of the magazine said, the 50 colleges that matter. And then at the bottom it said, basically, anywhere else is college even worth it? I'm like, are you people insane? We live in a country of 315 million people, and you're telling me there are 50 colleges that matter? And by the way, most of them were colleges for which the term bill, the cost of attendance, tuition, room and board, is 1 inch under $60,000 a year, not including extras. So how many Americans do you think can afford $60,000 a year to send one of their children to an undergraduate college? Try. So few that it makes no difference. So few that it makes no difference. Yet this magazine, this national magazine, says there's only 50 colleges that matter. So we live in a society which has become negatively focused, elitist, status-driven. Every day I complain about this, more and more like the British that we threw off, where status was more important than achievement. And so we've also distorted our thinking. So let's just look at some data related to economic development. What is the unemployment rate of people with college degrees in the United States today, approximately? What? How about 3.9? It is 1 inch from full employment. I'm tracking the data that I use as the Labor Department statistics by educational attainment. 3.9, 4.0, it's vacillating right in that area. So how many of you would have thought that college graduates are as near to full employment as they have been in the last 30 years? How many of you would have thought that? No, you wouldn't have thought that because your brains are pounded and beaten into mush by unbelievably inaccurate, incomplete, and distorted views of the world. So are there labor shortages in the United States? There are unbelievable labor shortages in the United States. And the higher the level of educational attainment, the higher the level of shortage. There are shortages for college graduates in the United States right now. There are shortages throughout the country for people that have the most technical skills. Are there shortages for immigrant labor in the United States? That is, the need for new labor beyond population growth. That's what immigration is about. That's what it has always been about in the United States. New labor beyond population growth. Yes, there are immigrant labor shortages in the United States. Now, we have no immigration policy, and so that's not going to be addressed. And we have some sort of a distorted view of what's going on relative to what it actually takes to be successful. Do we have wage decline actually going on in the United States? Unequivocally. Where? Right in the heart of what we think of the middle of the middle. Right in the middle of the middle class, we actually have wage decline. Wage decline in the middle of the middle is a function of basically enhancements in productivity. And the people that I was on video conference with yesterday in San Francisco working for a company called Facebook, I was talking to what must have been a 28-year-old director of strategic alliances for Facebook, and the other 3 people that were supposed to be in the meeting were too busy to be in the meeting. And the point is that I don't know what that person makes, but I'm certain the first digit is a 3. And she's a staff officer of a company, and her salary at least is not below $300,000. Now you say to yourself, well, she doesn't deserve it. Well, I don't know. If you look at that company and what they're doing and where they're going and set aside their stock price and so forth and so on, they did happen to come up with an idea to integrate 750 million people into a network that may be leverageable into other kinds of things. And so who knows what that's worth. The point is that middle class wage decline is a function of productivity enhancement. That small company called Facebook, with just a couple thousand employees, if that, is adding what value to the economy? Now you may say no value, I don't use Facebook. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the platform. I'm talking about the platform Google, or some of these other things. And I'm just using these as examples. Those are called productivity enhancement platforms. They might start off as a way in which teenagers talk to each other, but then pretty soon and later, they're now a platform. We were not talking to them about teenagers talking to each other. We were talking to them about learning platform enhancement. We were talking to them about how to enhance the way that people learn, the way they network, the way they can learn as a group, the way you can add technological features to this, the way they can take certain aspects of the tools that we've developed and change things. And so the point relative to middle class wage decline is that middle class wage decline is a function of our success and the inability of all of us to realize that for us to be more successful, the entire country has to upgrade itself to a higher level of productivity and a higher level of performance, much of which not for every individual. Yes, I love to read these articles that say Bill Gates didn't go to college, therefore no one should go to college. Steve Jobs didn't graduate from college, so no one should go to college. Let's take a guy like Steve Jobs. There's millions of them walking around. We're all just like him. That's actually, these are like, it's like we have to listen to the diatribe of fools. For our country to be successful, we have always advanced. We have always improved. We have always moved forward educationally or technologically, scientifically. And we've gotten to this point where somehow we think that this is no longer the methodological approach. So here we are in Chandler. Chandler is what I call an edge city, and I don't mean edge as in the edge of the metropolitan area. It is an edge city which is actually as intimately involved in the innovation economy on a global basis as any city in this region, as any city in this country. It is in what I call the center of the forces of the tornadoes called creative destruction. I was ever so happy to hear that, anybody here from Intel? And Intel, yes, I see that. Intel makes a decision to put a laboratory here in Chandler, which is an unbelievable positive thing for Chandler and for Arizona, because in spite of the fact that not too far from here, the world's most advanced facility for the construction of microelectronic devices capable of calculating at speeds unheard of in the past and at densities unheard of in the past. In all of human history, no devices equal to those being constructed in the Intel Fab 4 plant that's going to be completed when? End of next year. It's it. That is human, the human races. You know, when the aliens fly by and they want to blow something up, they're not going to blow up Broadway in New York City. That might get a lot of attention on the press. They're going to blow up that Fab 4 plant out there because that's the only thing that we've got that can put the missile in the brain, or the brain in the missile, or the brain in the computer, or the brain in some device that we can blow them up with.
You need to get working on your phasers.
Yes, phasers, right. But so now, Intel, though, made a decision that Chandler's no longer going to be only the world's most sophisticated high-tech factory town. It's going to also be a center where they're laying down some track for it to be a research center. That's Chandler. That's what's going on in Chandler. So it's not only alien target, since Intel and Orbital Sciences are there, they got to take out Chandler, but also fantastic knowledge production location. Fantastic knowledge production. So Chandler is an emerging global technology center. It has unbelievable potential, unbelievably high performance capacity, the right location, the right structure, the right schools, the right region, the right sister cities where the labor force comes in from. The university relationship. The Intel folks will tell you that we have a fantastic relationship with Intel from ASU. We're the largest supplier of employees to Intel on a global basis. That is, we're the university with the most graduates at Intel. We have new projects in Vietnam related to Intel. We have new work going on, and we have other activity going on. We're working, by the way, in other areas. So here, Orbital Sciences is here. Anybody here from Orbital Sciences? So Orbital Sciences is a part of this commercialization of space. ASU is one of the leading centers for space technology, space science, space exploration, space tools, all those kinds of things. And so we're now a part of trying to figure out how can we help facilitate with some of the companies that are here, Intel, others that are here, all in the East Valley, working, some in the West Valley, with Lockheed Martin over there and others that are over there. Turns out that Phoenix is one of the leading centers for whatever might become, in the long run, the economic potential of space exploration and space exploitation. So you might think this is all crazy, and if you do, I literally feel sorry for you. I mean, I really do. It's like, there's a group of billionaires that got together recently and just formed a company. They're going to go mine an asteroid. I go, that's crazy, that's crazy. That'll never happen. People used to tell me the internet was a fad. They did. The Columbia factory, they thought I was nuts. I'd meet with them and they'd tell me the internet was a fad. So anyway, that little thing about going out to explore that, or go out to mine an asteroid for platinum. Imagine if all the tools and the engineering and the science and all the assets and everything that ultimately developed from all that emerged from here. And you say, well, that'll never happen. Well, if you come over in just a few weeks to the Tempe campus of ASU, you go into our new science building, Interdisciplinary Science and Technology Building number 4 that we just completed. And you come into the first floor and you go into a glass wall that you see at the end of the first floor, and inside that glass wall, it's a clean room controlling the atmosphere inside that space. What are they going to be building in there? So we won the contract, we're just getting it set up. What are they building? They're building a tool that's going up to an asteroid. That's a geological exploration device to determine the mineral content and geological history of the asteroid that this device is going to land on. Now, this is not science fiction. They're going to be building this tool, ASU students, an ASU factory. That tool is going to take off pretty soon. It's going to fly up on one of these rocks, land on one of these rocks, drill into the rock, take the samples of the rock and bring them back. That's all going on just down the road here. And so this notion that somehow we're not in the game or that we're not positioned to be a part of all of this, that is just completely, utterly false. Now, let's say that what I say is true. Or don't believe me, divided by 50%, it's still true. It's still true. How do you go forward? So if I was sitting around in this region thinking about economic development, and if I was sitting around in the Chandler chamber, if I was sitting around in this city or the cities around here or the East Valley Partnership, I see Rockford that's here, and I was thinking about economic development and economic opportunity, I would worry about two things and two things only. I must change the image of the projection of the state of Arizona at all costs. At all costs, because we're not seen for how we actually are. I've been here 10 years, I know that makes me still a newbie. But as a newbie, well, maybe in Arizona it makes me like a pioneer. But as a newbie, what I can tell you, this is the most fantastic place that I've ever been. You can do things here that I could just think about doing in other places. Because there were too many people surrounding you saying you can't do that. Yeah. To our legislative colleagues that are here, they never say no to us. They just say, we don't have as much money as you think you need. But they never say no. They don't say, well, you can't do that, you can't do that. And the opposite, they say, be as innovative as you can, be as creative as you can, make things happen. That projection of who we are and what we've achieved and where we're going and how we're tackling things, that is not done in Arizona. So you cannot do anything about this next part of the list. Or I got two things on the list.